This is Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage, your place for all things Wisconsin sports. Now, your host, Trage.
How we doing, everybody, and welcome into Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage, as we're coming in here on this Saturday. I hope you guys are enjoying your Saturday so far here. Hope you guys have enjoyed your weekend so far since we talked last on Wednesday there. We have a lot to dive into tonight, or today here on the show. Goodness, today here on the show. If you want to be involved in the show, make sure you're doing it. Hit up the text in line, 715-990-4654. That is 715-990-4654. Make sure if you can, like, subscribe, follow across all the social media platforms out there. Just search Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trade. So, Brewers have been rolling as of late here, and I want to talk a little bit about Joey Ortiz. I don't know if it was that move from short to third. I don't know if it was the competition of Cooper Pratt coming up there and having David Hamilton before he got hurt. That competition there where he thought he might lose his job. I don't know what it was. Either way, he's rolling right now. Joey Ortiz over the last 7 games, 381 over the last 15, 362. The power's showing up a little bit there for Joey. He's got 3 home runs over the last 15 games. He's driving the baseball to all fields. The Mets pitched around him the other day. It is ridiculous. The biggest question a lot of fans have out there now, is it a fluke, right? Is it a fluke? You can call it a fluke when it's a week. When it gets over a week, then it goes into 2, and then you get a month of baseball from a guy where he is just driving the baseball. It's not a fluke anymore. This is a guy who can hit. Joey's a guy that can hit. We saw it in the first year when he came to the Brewers. He got hurt. I believe he got hurt in that first year when he was playing third. Got hurt, was on the IL, came back, just wasn't the same guy. And since then, he's gone downhill. The ability right now of Joey Ortiz to drive the baseball, he's seeing it so well. I don't think it's a fluke. I think there was a good hitter. And I'm going to go on record saying I think there was a good hitter in him all along. The question now is, though, do you trade Joey Ortiz while he's hot? A lot of people saying, well, why would you do that? That's ridiculous. Why would you trade one of your guys who's hitting right now when you have many guys who aren't? This is why. Say it is a fluke. Say I'm wrong. Say I'm wrong. On the record, say I'm wrong. And Joey Ortiz, it is a fluke. He goes back to being Joey Ortiz, the guy that we grew accustomed to. His trade value is not there. You're not going to get anything for him. And you have many guys in that minor league system coming up there in the left side of that infield that are going to take his spot. Now, he doesn't have trade value. Right now, he's got trade value. So that would be why you would move on from him. Because right now, you either are accepting that you're accepting that he's hot and you can bank on him for that postseason run, or you have to come to I guess if you're the Brewers, you have to come to either one of 2 conclusions, right? He's hot and he can carry you in the postseason. He can get to the postseason. He can still continue to hit. Or it's going to go downhill. And he's not going to be that contributor like he is right now. You don't want to play that game, right? You want to have consistency, especially when you get to postseason play. So the question will be there when the Brewers get closer to the deadline, do you still make a move for that? Everybody's looking for the big bat for third base, right? Get a big bat. Get somebody to play third. You're not going to find a better defender than Joey Ortiz at third, but you could find somebody with more pop. I'm interested to see what they do because Joey Ortiz is making it really hard for the Brewers to make that decision. Before it was easy, right? Before Joey went on this tear, it was easy. Yeah, they need a third baseman. They don't have anybody. David Hamilton he's a speed guy, but he's not going to be a consistent threat. Joey Ortiz, great glove. He's got the ability to run a little bit, but other than that, he ain't got the bat to carry you. So you need to go get a third baseman. Now you're looking at it saying, well, when David Hamilton comes back, where does he even fit in? Is he going to be a bench guy? Okay, that makes sense. Joey Ortiz stays at third. It all makes sense there. It's an interesting topic, to look at there heading towards the deadline. The Brewers heading towards the deadline right now. I've seen a lot of rumors, talks out there that they've, called and checked in on Tariq Skubal and Mason Miller. It sounds like the Brewers are heading towards a all-in deadline, and that has me excited. They see the opportunity. They see the Miz and Harrison at the top of the rotation. They see the stars that they have in this lineup with Terang, with Churio, Contreras, Vaughn, and Bowers. Bowers having one of the best years of his entire career. Actually, I would say the best year of his entire career. You have all these stars in this team, and the Brewers are looking at it saying, why not go in why not go all in right now? They have one of the best 1-2 punches in baseball with Harrison and Miz. Get Harrison healthy, right? That's the biggest thing. He's throwing again, which is great to see. I would say right now, if I'm the Brewers, the biggest question mark I have is after Miz and Harrison, you have Henderson. I like Henderson. I think I think he could be that 3-4 when it comes to postseason play. Do you trust guys like Sprout, Gasser, those guys to help you out? I don't. I don't have that trust level in those guys. You don't have Woodruff for the rest of the year. I don't know how I feel about even thinking about McCullers fitting into that starting rotation at any point. I like McCullers. I thought watching him in his first outing, the curveball looked good. He had some good stuff in there. It was good up until that last little portion there, and then he kind of, slipped off a little bit. But I liked what I saw. I thought there was an uptick in his stuff. So an exciting guy, but can he be a reliable guy when it comes to postseason? If I'm the Brewers right now, I'm looking at, that Tariq Skubal. I was against it. I didn't know if I thought they needed Tariq Skubal. I'd be okay with Skubal. I'd be okay with it. The thing with it is the Brewers have so many good prospects in that minor league system at this point and so many good prospects in the infield in that minor league system. You can afford to trade and not have to touch a Mate or touch a Pena at this point here. You could probably trade a Pena, but you don't have to touch those guys at this point here. Those are my untouchables. Andrew Fisher right now is one of my untouchables there. There's a couple different guys throughout there at this very moment, but you have so many guys in the top 100 at this point. You don't have to touch your top 5 before you can make one of those kinds of trades out there. It is going to be an exciting deadline for the Brewers here. That is for darn sure, because this roster, I think they're built for a run. They just need to add a couple pieces here and there. I would love to see a bullpen guy. I would love to see a bullpen guy. Mason Miller is a dream. That would be a dream, because if you had a 7, 8, 9 punch of Avni Uribe, Trevor McGill, and then Mason Miller, that just feels like 2018. When you had Jeremy Jeffress and Corey Knebel and Josh Hader in that back of the three-headed monster in the back end of the bullpen, that feels like that all over again, except for that is a lot of gas coming at you there with Miller, McGill, and Avni Uribe. That's triple digits across the board. Could you imagine a game where Mizorowski goes 6 or 7 innings? Let's just say 6 innings of baseball, right? He's throwing 102 and he hits the 6th inning. And then in the 7th, you have to face Avni Uribe. Then in the 8th, you have to face Trevor McGill. And then, here you go. In the 9th, you get Mason Miller. That's a rough night at the office for any hitter. That is for darn sure. So I'm excited. Deadline right around the corner here. We're going to have Christian stopping by next year. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the deadline there a little bit. You guys know when Christian stops by, we have a plan of what we're going to talk about. We talk about anything but the plan. So there's going to be a lot coming at you in that segment. Christian stopping by next year. Next year, we have Kyle stopping by later on. We're going to talk some MLB standings with him, hit our buy or sell with some MLB teams, and then Ummer's going to stop by later on in the show here to wrap it up. We're going to talk some Packers with him. So this is Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. We'll be right back here after this quick. Welcome back into Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage, as we're coming back in here on this Saturday. And hey, if you guys want to be involved in the show, make sure you're doing it. Hit us up across social media. You can find us out there, Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere you get social media, you can find us there, Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage, or some version of that. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow if you have a chance. So Christian is here today. Christian, the writer for the Badger Backer and also Badgers on SI. You can find his work at either one of those places, even though we're not talking about the Badgers today. But Christian, how are we doing on this Saturday?
Not too bad, man. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I am doing great. Like I said, I'm bringing you in here, the Badger guy, and we're going to talk some Brewers. That's where we're at right now. Because Badgers, we're waiting for fall camp to fire up. We're waiting for all that. Big Ten Media Days is coming up. So just not a whole lot to talk about. I mean, we could talk about why Luke Fickell's going to fail or why he's going to succeed or all that. But hey, today we're going to go on a good note. We're going to talk some Brewers here. The Brewers have been looking really good here. Good to start the second half, but good in all season so far. So, Christian, I just want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts on this Brewers team as we're hitting the end of July, almost to the trade deadline. Give me your thoughts as of late.
I'm excited, man. I mean, it sounds like they're going to be kind of aggressive. I think, and if there's any year to do it, I think it has to be this year, right? Like, and just the makeup of this team, it just makes sense. Like, we have a young core that already has the best record in the majors, or at least right there with the Dodgers. And you have just a loaded farm system, and it's great and everything to have a loaded farm system, but at the same time, there's not room for everybody to come up, right? So I feel like, and let's be honest, the Brewers don't ever have like this many opportunities to win a World Series. I understand the window feels like it's kind of been open the last few years, but this year just feels like it's kind of like, what was it, 2017 when they went to Game 7 with the Dodgers? When was that? 2018 when they went to Game 7 with the Dodgers. Like, I haven't felt this confident since then. And I feel like, man, we've talked about this, like relief pitching is the big thing I thought we should target. Well, now with, you never know what the Miz. I know they're trying to like kind of wean things back a little bit, or, Harrison's injury, or, just Woodruff's done for the year. Now it feels like, okay, you know what? I know I was kind of like against it, but now I'm all for it. So we'll get a starting pitcher for the right price. You don't want to mortgage the entire future just to, because you want to keep that window open. But like I said, their farm system's loaded. Especially like with infielders, there's not enough. And if Joey O keeps playing the way he is, man, like there's just not enough room for these guys to come up. So, I mean, it feel like now's the time to trade him. Or I was talking to someone else about this too. There's only so much, like there's really solid prospects that aren't even on their 40-man roster.
Right.
So like I saw something that like, oh, maybe they would consider trading those guys to avoid and get something for him rather than potentially lose them next offseason in the Rule 5 draft. So, long story short, I'm excited. It feels like there's going to be a lot potentially going on. And if they don't make any trades or anything like that, I'm going to be really bummed out.
No, 100%. Because like you said, you have so many prospects. You have so many prospects in the top 100 that you don't even have to touch your top 5, and you still have really good prospects behind that right there. You could go deep into the farm system and still find prospects that are enticing to a lot of different organizations out there. So, I mean, it is an exciting time right now. And you don't, like I said, you don't have to touch the top guys to get good guys at this point here. I think the biggest thing, like you said, is it reminds you of 2018, but I almost feel, I don't know if I feel better. I feel to the point where their starting pitching's better. Because I'm trying to remember back to that team. That was Yoelis Chacin was on that team. Wade Miley, I believe, was leading that staff. Oh, man, I got to think back to my 2018 Brewers right now here. Yeah.
Woodruff was there, right?
Woodruff was there. I don't know. Was he starting yet? He was starting. He started a few games, but they might have moved him to the bullpen when they got to the playoffs.
Oh, maybe. But wasn't that series he hit that home run off Kershaw?
Yes,
he was starting, right?
Yes, he started in that one there. But was that the game where he came in for Wade Miley after he faced one batter? Was that in LA when Wade Miley faced one batter?
Oh, maybe.
And then they pulled him out. I am trying to remember that for the life of me right now here. Yeah, I'm trying to think of that roster. That roster was loaded up there, though. Yeah, I mean, you had Braun, you had Yelich, you had Lorenzo Cain, you had Moustakas, Travis Shaw was on that team. I'm trying to think of the pitching staff, though. That was a good pitching staff. You had the three-headed monster out there.
Mm-hmm.
You had Hader, and you had Jeffress, and you had Knebel. I'm trying to.
Mm-hmm.
That was a long time ago, man. It feels like it was just yesterday. Yoelis Chacin, I was right up there. Junior Guerra was on.
Junior Guerra, yep. Chase Anderson.
Chase Anderson. I forget about Chase Anderson.
Corbin Burns was pitching then too.
Burns, which came out of the bullpen. I remember
he was
that.
A bullpen guy.
Let's see here. Woody made 4 starts on the year.
We had Zach Davies. I think we picked up Gio Gonzalez later on then too, didn't we?
Yes, Gio Gonzalez was on that team. You also had I just saw somebody I wanted to mention there. Brent Suter was on that team. Can't forget about him. Freddie made some starts along the way throughout the season.
Wade Miley.
That was a pretty good team. That was a year that they went. I mean, they went out and got Joakim Soria. That was one of their trade deadline acquisitions there. And then they also got Jonathan Scope. And I believe that's when they got Mike Moustakas too. Moustakas came over. So that was a deadline where they went in. They went in for it there. Scope was a really late ad. I remember that one. It was like after the...
He was a trade deadline.
Yeah, it was like after the bell rang, and then a little bit later, they announced that the Brewers made the trade for Jonathan Scope.
And I was pretty excited about that, but man, guy was just... He had a disappointing
The only
season.
highlight,
like, he was supposed to bring like
what was the one highlight I remember?
He was supposed to bring some. Yeah, he was supposed to bring some power to that lineup, and man, he just never.
100%.
He never showed up. It was because he's our second baseman, right? So like we had. That was obviously before the DH, so like he had to play second base. We also had like Hernan Perez. Oh man,
that was when they moved Travis Shaw over to second base, or was it? Yes, so Shaw went to second, so that Moose.
Or did they move Moose? I thought Moose moved to second.
Now
was that a different year?
Now I got to see what that.
Either way, my point still stands. This is about as close as we're gonna get feeling wise right now at this point in the season. Is we're gonna get to the World Series. Like, why not? Especially when you have, and I'm not like always like, yeah, we have this awesome farm system. Let's blow it up and trade for all these guys. But like, we have all these young guys on the major league roster already with Cooper Pratt, Churio. We have Terang under control for 3 more years. We have, like we have these guys under control for a while. And yeah, we have Jesus Mate coming up. And I don't know. I feel like Luis Pena might be the guy that they could dangle out there. But I am a little concerned. I know, like I saw, like for Tariq Skubal, they were talking about the Tigers would want, an MLB ready starting pitcher who can eat up innings, things like that. I'm worried they're going to get rid of, they're going to ship Logan Henderson out.
Yeah,
that's one of the guys I wouldn't be excited about.
If you could flip Gasser in that deal, I'd be okay with Gasser. I like Gasser, but I'd be okay if they flipped Gasser in that deal, and then maybe you added in a younger pitcher that could entice them.
Like Drohan.
Oh no, I don't want to get rid of Drohan there. I really like him, man.
I think I'm higher on Henderson than either of them.
Yes, Henderson. I feel like right now Henderson could be the number 3 in this rotation. With the way it's set up, behind Miz and Harrison, you have Henderson. That's Absolutely. Your playoff, hypothetical playoff, roster right now.
And he'd be a heck of a number 4 too, like depending on who you would get in the trade deadline.
100%.
And then, so I mean, I'm all for big game hunting, but like any trade, we're going to talk about at the right price. You know what I mean? I'm all for like going big and getting Skubal, but like let's be honest, he's a rental. Yep. He's going to go get paid an insane amount of money. He's also 30? Is he on the?
Yeah, Skubal's up there in the age. I believe he's around that 30 mark.
He's up there already. Which I know he's not that old, but like he's going to go make a ton of money somewhere. The Brewers aren't going to have a chance. Like. And obviously, I trust, the front office and stuff. I don't think they can go all in and trade. Like Mate has to be untouchable. You can't trade like 3 of your top 10 prospects for Skubal, knowing you're going to get them for 60, 50 games. Not it's like what 10, maybe 10 starts, and then the playoffs.
The only way you touch the top prospects is if you go all in. I mean, that's like an all-in Skubal, and then you're going and you're finding a back, or you're going to get a reliever out there that's big time. Like that's the only way I'm touching one of those guys.
And I guess my other question too is: do you need to go all in this season? Like, because like I said, we have all these young guys. Like, who's, you know what I mean? I mean, we're probably losing Bowers,
right?
Because he's having a really good season. He's probably gonna make. Like, you got Vaughn. I don't know. We'll see if Tyler Black ever does anything.
That's the guy that I would consider trading is Tyler Black. What is he used for at this point?
Tyler Black. Honestly. Or what about Jefferson Kiro, that catcher in AAA? I feel like he's been constantly like mentioned as one of the top prospects in the Brewers system for years, but he's blocked by Contreras. Right. He's like he can't. I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, maybe you move Contreras just to DH and bring him up. I don't know, but like. And I guess I can't remember what Contreras' roster or his contract
He's got one more year,
now.
And I believe it's a club option next season where it's 14.5. I think he's worth 14.5 next
So they'll pick it up, and then do you get rid of Kiro, or do you like, yeah, this is the guy?
That's your question, right? That's your question right now.
Or do you follow the path of his brother and you say, okay, man, let's move you to first base, or I don't know how good he is at that, or hey, let's just DH you,
right? Yelich is the block of all of that, though. Yelich is the blocker in all of those deals.
But he's only got like 2 more years and then a club option. So
yeah, that would be as much as I want to. I really try to like Yelich. I really do, but it's just he blocks everything right now. When you think about it, you're like, oh, we need a DH
well,
Vaughn. We need to get him in the
mhm.
lineup more. You need to get Bowers in the
What if?
lineup more. Well, where do you put him, right? Because Yelich is a DH. Well, he's struggling. So then you have to
Mhm,
decide. Well, do you bench Yelich? Well, you can't bench Yelich because that would cause a
mhm.
disruption in the clubhouse. So then you have to keep him in the lineup. You don't want to ruin morale. You don't want to ruin his morale. So you got to keep him in.
Let's
It's like I want him to succeed so badly, but I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on. He just went from a consistent guy to just nosedive. And now I don't know what it is.
it's I think it's in his head. I mean, it's the injuries, right? Like he was having another MVP season before he fouled that
Yeah.
ball off and broke his kneecap, right? And then I think it's his back counts. I think it's just the injuries that got into him, and he's always worried about that, and I don't know. Maybe I think part of it too is like you need to have a rhythm for the game. You have to have a feel for it. Like you're not in the field doing anything. You're literally just batting. You're in the game once, maybe every 3 innings.
Yeah.
Like, and then how do you there's got to be something too, like being a part of the game defensively too, being out there, feeling all that, playing, you know what I mean? And then not just sitting on the bench, hitting, going back, hitting.
Yeah,
you know
no, the problem is now, though, when you look at the outfield for the Brewers, where do you put Yelich if you try to get him everyday starts out there? I mean, you got Churio, you got Mitchell, and then you're not going to keep Luis Lara up if you're not going to play him. I mean, you got to get him at bat, so he's your right fielder right now until Sal comes back. Brandon Lockridge is right around the corner from coming back. He was tearing it up before he got hurt. So, I mean, you're at this point right now where Yelich has to be the DH, and yet he's struggling. So what do you do? And then you get every fan's yelled about it. Andrew Vaughn not getting enough playing time. So then Bowers has got to play the outfield to get Andrew Vaughn the playing time. And it's just that constant, well, what do you do with this guy to keep this guy in the lineup? And it's a good problem to have, I guess. But the problem is that the guy who you have batting DH right now, yes, Yelich had some hits here and there and everywhere in between, but we watched the struggles. We've seen the struggles. And he has not been consistent at the top. And it's not like he's working counts very well up there either. What did Grant Bills say the other day? He said the game hasn't started until Christian Yelich just struck out. And then now there's one out. Now we can play baseball. Like that's kind of where it was at for a while. It was just a terrible at bat to start the game. And I agree with you. I think it is. It's in his head, whether it's the injuries, whether he is injured. And if he is, he should go to the IL to get rested up. Because if this is what we're seeing injured, you don't need him out there. He can go to the IL. You have guys that you put in that DH role for now. It's just right now, this team needs a consistent leadoff hitter who's going to set the table for those other guys. And Yelich has not been that guy. He comes up with a clutch hit, and then I want to come on here and yell, and then he comes up with a clutch hit. It's like, okay, well, I can't yell now. Yeah. Well, it was a small sample size to start. Now you're seeing a large sample size of struggles. I don't know what to do. I don't know what, if I was Pat Murphy, I don't know what I'd do.
There's nothing you can do, right? Like he is the veteran. He is the leader. He's been in Milwaukee for so long and has been so good. But you can't get rid of him. They're not going to cut him. They're not going to trade him. I mean, it would be easy if maybe there's a team out there that maybe there's an outfielder away or something like that, and they think maybe they can turn him around and, they'll give us a young prospect for Yelich or a part of, something. But I don't think the Brewers would ever trade him. They won't even entertain the idea of trading him because, I think his value in the locker room, as much as as annoying he's going to go up and he's just going to strike out because he just looks lost at the plate. Like there has to be something in his value in the locker room has to count for something. Like what was it? What happened?
Josh Hader trade?
Was it the Abner Uribe? No, earlier this year, the Abner Uribe, the crotch chop thing. And then Jonathan Lucroy, Twitter warrior, came on Twitter and was talking about, there needs to be veteran leadership. That never would have happened, blah, blah, blah. But then Yelich was like, yeah, it already got taken care of. Him and Woodruff are the two guys. Yeah, it sucks. Woodruff's out for the year, and Yelich can't seem to get back to where he was. But, you're not getting rid of those guys.
No,
right?
you don't. You're not going to get rid of them. Like you said, it would be a Josh Hader trade all over again. I don't. There's no team that's going to take on Yelich's contract. There's no team out there, not for the production at this point. But the Dodgers would be crazy. The Yankees would be crazy enough actually to take on that kind of deal at this point here. But nobody's taking that on. Nobody's making that trade. I don't think you make that trade. I think you have to flirt with the idea of dropping him in the order. I think you do at this point. because there's no reason why Yelich, because your leadoff guy, why you've seen Terang bat leadoff, why you've seen Churio bat leadoff, is because you want your leadoff guy to get the most opportunities to hit in the game. Why is Yelich the guy I want to have the most opportunities to hit in a game? That is not even close to the guy. You'd have Mitchell up there right now. You'd have, I don't even know. Churio sometimes is inconsistent, so I don't know if I'd say Churio, but
honestly,
Terang,
yeah, like Mitchell, I think you're right.
Mitchell would be a fun one in the leadoff spot there. He's been hitting so well in the 5 and 6 spot there that sometimes guys just sit in spots in the order and they're really good there. They're just really good there. I don't know. Sometimes it's just that movement, right? We talked about Joey Ortiz. I don't know what happened when he moved back to third base, but he found it again, right? There's just weird things in baseball that playing a position or batting in a certain spot, you just get comfortable. Mitchell has been so good in the 5 and 6. I like the idea of moving him up, but at the same time, I'm like, man, if he's this hot right here, just leave him. Just leave him. Let him cook right there. He's fine. He's perfectly fine.
Maybe Lara would do.
I think Lara would. He works counts really well. Like he sees the baseball really well. I always said Sal Frelick was the perfect leadoff guy just because he works counts. He puts the ball in play. He can get on. He's got some speed to him. He's not a big power threat at the plate, but he's a guy who's going to work counts, right, to lead off the game. I always said he'd be the perfect guy. He's just been so inconsistent this year that they haven't been able to get that going there.
But maybe that, like you said, some guys was good in spots. Maybe he'd be good there, and then you can move Yelich in the 7, 8. Just take some pressure off. That's the thing,
yeah.
Maybe that's part
just a pressure thing with him.
Like he goes up and he's I got to get on base because I got Terang and Churio and William Contreras behind me ready to hit me. And I don't know. I think it's all mental. I think when you have as many injuries as you have, I think that's part of it. But I genuinely think it's just like Joey O. Like he moves over to third base. It feels like the pressure's just off for whatever reason. And that's defensively, this doesn't even make sense. But maybe if you move, Yelich just back and just kind of let him, there's not a ton of pressure in the back end of the lineup and just see. Maybe he'll start getting his groove back.
The best part is with Joey Ortiz now just lighting it up at third base. You have 3 starting shortstops in your infield right now from third to second with Terang, Pratt, and then having Joey Ortiz at third base. I mean, that is a ridiculous defensive infield. I mean, watching him over there at third, I don't think right now you could tell me a third baseman who's a better defender in baseball than Joey Ortiz. I don't think there's a guy out there.
Nolan Arenado.
I'd take Joey. I'd take Joey over him at this point here.
He
has got a cannon of an arm to go along with that great glove. The range that he has, there is not many baseballs that are going to get by him and Pratt. Pratt's got a bunch of range there too. And then Terang playing at second base. It's not even open in the infield there unless you hit it at first base and you can sneaker by Andrew Vaughn or Jake Bowers over there. You ain't getting a baseball through the infield at this point right now. It is ridiculous, the defense that they're showing out there. But Joey Ortiz, he's making it tough. He's making it tough right now for the Brewers to even consider making a move for a third baseman because the way he's tearing it up, now that just comes with question marks, right? Can he consistently hit from here until the postseason into the postseason? That's the game right now. Yes, he's really good right now, but can he carry that over? That's the question mark. I'm hoping that he does because I've said it a million times. There's nothing more outside of a Brewers World Series win that I want than Joey Ortiz to just succeed at the plate. You saw how much he was struggling mentally with what was going on. He just could not find a way to get a hit. And then that home run he had against the Reds to put him up late in that game there, 5-3, he had hit that big 2-run home run. After that, there was just a spark that was lit inside Joey Ortiz. And now, I mean, the Mets pitched around him. They walked him on purpose just to avoid pitching to him. That's where we're at with Joey O right now here. I got to be honest with you. I said this the other day. I have more confidence in Joey Ortiz at the plate than Christian Yelich, and I never thought I would say that when the season started. I never thought I'd say that. But right now, I have more confidence in Joey O. The only person that I might have more confidence in than Joey Ortiz is Garrett Mitchell. That might be it. That might be it at this point. Just as hot as those two are. They are just carrying right now this offense. It's ridiculous out there. So, Christian, I got to run here. You let the people know where to find you out there across social media.
As always, you can find me at Christian Borman on Twitter, and you can find all my writing at the Badger Backer and on Badgers on
Make sure you guys check out his stuff. He's got great stuff. He talks Brewers over there on social media. Don't you worry. He's talking Brewers, but mainly Badgers over there. So check out his stuff there at the Badger Backer and Badgers on SI. So when we come back, We're going to have Kyle stopping by. We're going to talk a little MLB standings. We're going to do buy or sell when we come back. We'll be right back here on Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage, as we're coming back in here on this Saturday. We have Kyle stopping by here today. Kyle, the host of Chomping at the Bit podcast. You can find him across all the social media platforms and wherever you find podcasts. Just search Chomping at the Bit. So, Kyle, how are we doing on this Saturday?
I'm doing well. I mean, weekend, really no reason to complain. So, just happy to be back on here.
What are your thoughts on Sabrina? What was it? Sabrina did not get invited, or she was quote unquote not invited to the WNBA All-Star game there, to the 3-point contest, and then Caitlin Clark declining the invite there. What are your thoughts on that?
Look, I think the Sabrina part, I don't really think she's having that great of a season. She's only shooting like 30% from three. So I could see a world where she probably doesn't get an invite. The Caitlin Clark thing, I put the same pressure on LeBron when he did this, not doing the slam dunk contest. I've seen people say that she doesn't have to do it. She has nothing to prove. I kind of disagree with that. If people are going to call her the face of the league, they say she's box office. She was touted as the Steph Curry of the women's game. I think you have to show that skill off in the 3-point contest. Like, she didn't do it last year in Indy. Now she's not doing it again. Like, I just don't get it.
Man, it's just these all-star games are just getting less enticing because the all-stars aren't showing up. You know, that's just all these games that they have, whether it be, the home run derby for the MLB, or you look over at the 3-point contest or the slam dunk contest for the NBA, and then you got 3-point contest for the WNBA. You don't have your stars showing up anymore, and it just makes it less enticing, right? And it kind of puts a bad look on some of those players or the league that's they're selling. Like, it just puts a bad look all the way around. So just interesting there. I just heard those tidbits coming in. I was reading through social media and I was like, hey, I got to ask Kyle about this coming in. So interesting stuff there. We'll keep an eye on that and see what happens there. But Kyle, I want to talk some MLB standings today. I want to go into our buy or sell. We were going to do buy or sell on Wednesday. We didn't get to it. We'll do buy or sell today. Trade deadline edition. So Kyle, let's look at the standings first. In the American League East right now, we have the Rays out top, followed by the Yankees. Then we have the Red Sox, the Orioles, and then the Blue Jays. In the Central, the White Sox, followed by the Guardians. We have the Twins sitting there in third, followed by the Tigers, and then the Royals. And out west, this is the new AL Central. This division is just not good so far this year. We have the Rangers out front there, 500 record, and they're in first place. That's what really just don't even want to look at it. A 500 record and you're in first place in the West. The Mariners coming in second place right there. Then you have the Astros just behind. The Astros doing what the Astros seem to do every single year. Start slow and then find their way back into the race. The Athletics, and then followed by the Angels, the team that everybody wishes Mike Trout would just leave the Angels and just go someplace else and try to win a World. Kyle, why doesn't Mike Trout want to leave the Angels? I get wanting to be that guy who stayed with a team your entire career. It sounds great, everything. But the Angels have never done what it takes to put that. They got Anthony Rendon. How'd that work? That didn't work out very well. But outside of that, Shohei Ohtani left. They just haven't been able to put a team around him to this point here. And we're going to look back at Mike Trout's career and say, what's missing? It just feels like that's what's going to be, is what's missing from his career. Well, let's see, playoff success, getting to a World Series. Kyle, what do you think? Why won't Trout leave the Angels?
Well, I mean, look, he's been to the postseason once. I believe it was the year where they lost to the Royals.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and that's the only time he's been. And even in that series, I think he only had one hit. So his playoff numbers hasn't stopped anybody from saying he was the best player in the league. I think people don't doubt his Hall of Fame qualifications. I'm starting to believe that he's just content being with the Angels because he doesn't have to deal with like the media pressure necessarily. Like if you went to the Yankees or the Red Sox or something like that, maybe he has told himself he couldn't handle an environment like that where fans there like live and die with your performance. They boo you all the time if you're not playing well. With the Angels, he doesn't have to worry about that. And he might just be happy with that, which, I mean, I can respect it. I do think it's interesting that without postseason success, nobody's really ever had a bad thing to say about him.
Yeah, no, that's the truth. That I agree with that. I can see that. As you talk there, I'm like, yeah, I can see why you wouldn't want to leave out there. Why would you want to go to New York and get booed over there? Go to LA, the Dodgers, and get booed there. He could come to Milwaukee though. Just saying, he could have came to Milwaukee a long time ago. It would have been fine. I don't know if I really want him now. We got enough outfielders in Milwaukee, but looking at his postseason batting, 1 for 12. 3 games, 1 for 12 in postseason, 1 home run. His 1 hit in the postseason was a home run.
Yeah.
That's something to end a career on right there. I mean, I had 1 hit in the postseason. I hit a bomb, but it was a solo shot, so it doesn't really count. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying right there. But that's a rough batting average to look at there. He got caught stealing once, too, in the postseason. He had 3 walks, but he got caught stealing once. No stolen bases in the postseason. That's a rough stat line to look at.
Yeah.
Not a very long stat line, that's for darn sure. But 2014, that would have been the 1 year that Mike Trout made the postseason. I mean, man, oh man, you just want to see a guy with that kind of. I mean, like you said, it's gonna be a Hall of Fame career when it's all said and done. You just want to see that kind of guy have the postseason success, find a way to get to a World Series or maybe an ALCS and have a shot for a World Series. And I just feel like the Angels haven't done enough to put that team around him to get there. They tried and failed mightily with the Anthony Rendon. What is going on? Where is Anthony Rendon now? Is he still in baseball? He can't be. He cannot be.
I doubt he is, but you never know. The
contract can't be up by now. Did he? I think he did like a Bobby Bonilla, I'm pretty sure, where he like worked it out with the Angels so they didn't have to pay him so much, so he wasn't affecting their like the salaries that much there. He was kind of like messing around with that and trying to help him out with payroll. That's the word I'm looking for. Help him out with payroll. I'm pretty sure he did something like that, but he cannot be in baseball at this point here. Somebody's going to take the Yankees would be a team to take a flyer on Anthony Rendon. I could see it.
Right.
You know, they like bringing in those old veteran guys. Anthony Rendon fits that fold right there. So let's flip over to the National League, Kyle. And the National League, you look at the East right now, we have the Braves out top at 60-42. Then we see the Phillies coming in second, followed by the Marlins, the Nationals, then the Mets. The Central, the Brewers out top, followed by the Cubs, Pirates, Cardinals, then Reds, and then the West. Kind of how we saw it shaking out. The Diamondbacks have been surprising, but they're always a pesky, pretty good team. You have the Dodgers up front there, followed by the Diamondbacks, the Padres, the Giants, and then the Rockies. So anything in the NL that sticks out to you at this point here?
I feel like there's probably going to be a lot of eyes on the Central because outside of the Brewers, the rest of the division relatively close, except for maybe the Reds. So if you're the Cardinals, Pirates, Cubs, you know, you're probably out there trying to get some piece to help you not necessarily catch the Brewers, but to position yourself for a wild card spot. And if you're a Pirates fan, you're probably begging the team to do something to finally capitalize on an opportunity that you have where you could maybe sneak into a wild card spot, which that fan base hasn't seen in a while. You know, it would probably be good to see a Skeens in postseason baseball. So what do the Pirates do? Are they able to make a move that really helps them down the stretch here, or will we kind of look back on the season and say they were competitive, but they chose to stay stagnant at the deadline and they faded in the second half? So I think that division is where you're looking. And the Cardinals, you know, I think we talked before, like they're a young team already, so they might be content with just letting it ride out and see where they end up. But could they swing a surprise move that maybe helps them in this situation? I think the other divisions are kind of what they are. I just feel like those 3 teams, the Cubs, Pirates, Cardinals, are probably where we should be looking at.
It's gonna be a fun little race right there between those three teams right now, because the wild card race is enticing right now for both leagues between the AL and the NL. So Kyle, let's do some buy or sell. You kind of just sprinkled in a little buy or sell there in your last little talk there, but let's look at the American League. Now we know we're going to go our automatic buyers. We have our automatic buyers, so we're going to avoid those because we know these teams are going to buy at the deadline. The Rays, the Yankees. The AL is kind of weird. I'm going to go the A's, the Rays, the Yankees, and Would you say the White Sox are an automatic buyer? They're 7 games above 500. Would you say they're an automatic? Kyle's going to go automatic. Automatic buyer
I'll say
right there. Yeah, automatic buyer. Okay, so let's start with the Red Sox. Your Red Sox. Are they a buyer or a seller when it comes to the deadline?
I think they buy.
All right.
I think they're looking for a bat. So I'll say they'll buy a bat.
I like that. I think so too. I think you got to. Why not? Why not just go out there, get a bat? Nothing crazy. Nothing, don't give up a lot. Just go get a bat, add a little bit, see what you can do. I like that there. The Orioles. Do you think they go major sell or do you think they just sit?
They're tough. Part of me kind of thinks with the series against the Red Sox might have pushed them into a slight sell.
Okay. Not major seller, just they're going to sell off some pieces there.
Yeah.
Guardians, out of the Central there, the Guardians, sitting at 54-50 as we're talking.
I think at that point you kind of have to buy. Like, you're only game and a half behind the White Sox, and you can't sit there, watch the White Sox do something, and then you not do anything. Like, so I think the Guardians will have to match the White Sox and buy as well.
I like that one. This is the division that it hurts me to look at. Rangers, let's go Rangers first. Rangers buy or sell?
Buy. Yeah, like you're sitting at 500. You can't feel too confident in that. So buy.
Buy a piece or two, maybe. Nothing crazy at this point here. The Mariners. Let's go with the Mariners there. Buy or sell?
I mean, coming off of last year, they really taken a step back, but I think they have to buy as well.
I think so too. I'm right there with you. To Houston Astros, I don't think they're ever going to sell unless if somebody gives them a really crazy offer for Yordan Alvarez or one of those guys. I don't think they sell. But Kyle, buy or sell Astros?
I mean, it would be tough to tell that fan base that you're selling a guy who could win the Triple Crown, could be the MVP. I think only because the division's still in their grasp, they're going to buy as well.
They never feel like they're out of it. That's the thing with the Astros. They never realistically feel like they're out of it, so there's no selling when it comes to the Houston Astros. That is for sure. Let's look over at the NL here, Kyle. The Miami Marlins. This is a fun team. This is a really fun team with some really good arms, really good pitchers on that team, and the back of the bullpen's pretty good. The lineup's got some good hitters in it. What do you think, Kyle? Buy or sell?
I would say if the Marlins do something, they should buy. But I also think if they end up not doing anything, I don't think I'd hate that either. So
I think low end buy. Low end buy. You're not going for anything crazy. Yes, I agree. Low end buy, nothing crazy. See if you can go add maybe an arm out there for the bullpen. Maybe it's a guy to play DH or something in the infield, or maybe a guy in the infield. I don't know. Like, buy something low at this point here. Okay, let's see here. Pirates. You kind of just talked about them there for a minute, but the Pirates, what do you think?
I think you have to buy. Like, the Pirates have this great ballpark. They've had young players go through that organization, not being able to, see any postseason action. They're kind of around it at this point. I feel like you got to go for it at some point. Why not do it this year?
Right, and the offense is so good. I mean, you look at their offense, they put up 543 runs on the season so far. That's more than anybody else in baseball at this point. But you look at the runs allowed, 492. And that's not the starting pitching. That is that bullpen. That is absolutely terrible. I mean, you look at the starting rotation. You got Skeens, the headline it there. You have some really good hard throwers in there. Like, the top of the rotation is really good. You get in a wild card setting, if you have any kind of bullpen, you could win a game if you're the Pirates there. Yep. So I agree with you. You're buying there when it comes to the deadline. Cardinals.
I mean, look, not a lot of people expected the Cardinals to do a lot this year. I wouldn't be surprised if they were a kind of a sneaky seller to kind of maybe move off maybe a veteran piece that's sitting there to give a younger guy some more a path or something like that. I'll say sell. I don't think anything too crazy like, yard sale or anything like that, but I think they sell a little bit.
I could see that. I could see, like, just dealing here and there. Nothing crazy. Don't blow it up. Don't do anything crazy. Just sit, but sell off a piece here or there. Maybe get some enticing prospects back. Maybe a couple good starting pitchers. Maybe that's what you're looking at this point if you are the Cardinals. NL West. This one's Interesting. I got two teams. I think the Diamondbacks are going to be for sure buyers. I think they're going to buy because they're in the wild card race. These two teams interest me because I've heard Mason Miller's name a lot, and I've also heard the Giants with basically their entire team at this point here. I've heard Logan Webb, I've heard Robbie Ray, and then you also got, Matt Chapman on that team, Rafael Devers, Willie Adames. We've heard Casey Schmidt. I believe that's Casey Schmidt, right? That's his name? It's not Matt Schmidt. It's Casey Schmidt. Yeah, I think it's Casey Schmidt. So either way, anyways, you have the Giants being talked about, the Padres. Let's start with the Padres. Buy or sell when it comes to the deadline?
I think they have to sell. Like they tried this experiment. They got a lot of names that got a lot of people excited. It just hasn't worked out. I think this needs to be the end of it. Just sell what you can.
I'm there with you. They've spent a lot of money. They put this roster together, and it's just not working. It has just not worked up to this point here. This is a roster that you thought was going to be a World Series contending roster, and they cannot find a way to put it together. I think this next team is kind of in that same boat, Giants. Giants are in the same boat for me. What do you think, Kyle? Buy or sell when it comes to deadline?
You just get this weird feeling like the Giants are like dysfunctional, and for an organization that usually isn't viewed that way, it's a little weird. I think they're kind of in the same boat. They need to sell, like you said. The Devers move out there hasn't worked out like they thought. And they have pieces that if they made them available, like teams would be interested. So I think they should definitely sell.
Do you think it's the young manager? What is his name? Is it Tony Lavella? Is that his name? Or am I going crazy right now? What is that manager for the Giants there?
That's a good question. What is?
Oh man, is it? I swear, I thought his name was like Tony. So Tony Vitello?
Yeah.
See, Lavello, Vitello. It's Tony Lavello. Is that a guy? I'm pretty sure that's a guy. I'm pretty sure that's somebody.
There was Torey Lavello. I think is he with the Diamondbacks?
Maybe. I don't know. I got my names all kinds of screwed. Do you think that maybe a younger manager like that coming in, you get all these personalities and a Matt Chapman and a Willie Adames is a pretty good locker room guy, but then you bring in a Devers and you have a Logan Webb in there who seems like a pretty steady head in there. And then you have Robbie Ray. I mean, you have all these different personalities. Do you think maybe that's what went wrong? I just don't know. It just feels like you have so much star power there that something's got to go right. But it just feels like you said, it's dysfunctional. And that's not what you've grew accustomed to with the Giants throughout the years. It just slowly went downhill.
I mean, some of it, I don't know. It feels like it's the Rafi Devers thing. Like, look, I loved him, obviously, watching him with the Red Sox. But it's like as soon as he got there, it was something between him and Will Clark, which I feel like still goes on because I feel like I saw a clip the other day of Will Clark just yelling at the sky about something with the Giants. And I'm just like, either Devers has just been putting people off. I mean, first got there, it was about first base versus DHing versus third. And I think that's where the Will Clark thing started. Like he was supposed to show up for a workout with Will Clark and he just didn't. And I feel like from that moment, Will Clark's been on him. And maybe that's what all this is. A bunch of guys are maybe looking at Devers and wondering how he fits, if he even likes it out there. I don't know. It just seems like they probably need to move him, see if they can salvage it. Because like you said, and I'm saying, this is not what we thought the Giants were going to look like. Because like you said, you look up and down that lineup, there's names, there's production, but they're barely better than the Rockies. That's a problem.
Right. No, when I brought up the manager, it's just because some guys just work, right? They're able to put together pieces and make it work. And you just question then some managers where do they have that same ability, right? Pat Murphy's way to make the Brewers good every single year with a roster that's sometimes just pieced together, right? Guys are getting hurt left and right. He started the year without Churio and Vaughn and Yelich and somehow is still winning baseball games and staying in the race. And it's just like, how can he do this every single year? Some managers are really good in that sense. And then others, not so good. They need to kind of have it laid out in front of them, right? And that's where it was a question mark there of maybe that's the problem. Like you said, maybe it's Devers. Maybe it's a whole lot of different problems going on with the Giants right now, but it is definitely a mess out there in San Fran. So, Kyle, I got to run here. You let people know where to find you out there across social media.
Yeah, so Podbean, YouTube, Facebook, Chomping at the Bit, easiest way to find me.
Make sure you guys check him out. He's got great stuff over there on those platforms. You can find, he's talking baseball, he's talking the NBA, WNBA, whether it's the World Cup. He's covering it all. Goodness, I couldn't even keep up with the amount of things he covers. Check him out there at Shopping at the Bit. So when we come back for the break, Elmer's going to stop by. We're going to wrap up the show. Tons of stuff yet to come here. We'll be right back here on Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage, as we're coming back in here on this Saturday. We're at the end of the show, but hey, we couldn't get out of here without Elmer stopping by. Elmer, how we doing? Elmer, the host of Coast to Coast Packers. I don't want to forget that. The host of Coast to Coast Packers. You can find him out there across social media or wherever you get your podcast. Just search Coast to Coast Packers. Elmer, how we doing on this Saturday?
Amazing, man. Can't complain. It's the weekend. I'm going to be celebrating my anniversary today. We weren't able to celebrate on the day of, so I'm going to be getting dinner and then going to see Odyssey tonight. So I'm very, very, very excited, man. How are you doing?
There we go. Well, happy anniversary. Happy belated anniversary here. I mean, I was late. I'm sorry. Next, I'm going to write it down. I'm going to write it down for next year that I'll say it on this. I'll say it at the right time. But, I'm doing good. Like I said, the weekend's here. How could you complain? The weekend is here. So, Elmer, we got a little quick hitter today because not a whole lot happening with the Packers, though training camp right around the corner, firing up next week there. So we want to hit Elmer's biggest storylines heading into training camps. Elmer, what are you looking at? What are your biggest storylines heading into camp here?
Honestly, the team as a whole. I think that we have so many changes that are happening. We have a new coordinator on defense. We have a new coordinator on offense. On special teams. And obviously we have a new quarterback coach and Mr. Getsy there. But the truth is everything is going to be new. Even with the offense. LaFleur said multiple times that he's going back to square one. He's trying to go back to the roots of kind of what got him to where he is. And I'm really looking forward to seeing them kind of get more back under center on offense, kind of see what Jonathan Gannon's going to do with this defense. It's not going to have Michael Parsons probably for the first half of the season, and how Cam Akers is going to turn this special team unit around that's been ranked in the bottom of the NFL league for the last 2-3 years. So I'm very excited for just those three things as a kind of like a holistic kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's the shakeup, right? The shakeup of this entire, not even the roster. You have a lot of new faces in there, but the shakeup of the coaching room, right? You don't even have that consistency going from year to year. It's a little bit of change up, but sometimes change is good, right? When you get the right guys in the room, change is good. And we believe that with Cam McCord there on the special teams, that's going to flip that around there. Also bringing in guys like Sky Moore, that's going to be awesome there for that special teams unit. And then looking over at the defense, adding in some fresh new, well, not, would you call them fresh because they're a little bit older, right? The veterans there, and Hargrave, and I don't want to call them old. I feel bad now. Old, but you got Hargrave in there now, and you have Zaire Franklin. Benjamin St. Juice has been in the league there a little bit, so you're bringing in some of them veterans too, which is nice to see, right? A change up in this team, which is great. And I love Matt LaFleur going back to the basics, right? Going just clean slate. Figure out what's been working for him over the years, figure out what hasn't, and taking those pages of the playbook and throwing them out. That's what I'm excited to see here as camp rolls up here. When I see an end around or one of those kinds of plays, though, I am going to lose my mind watching some of these open practices. That's all I know is I'm going to lose my mind if I see a jet sweep out there. I'm just going to lose it. I just can't handle when he's running those kinds of plays out there. But anyways, I am excited for what we have coming up. There's some, like you said, some exciting storylines. Would you say the offensive line is probably one of the biggest ones heading in? The offensive line has got to be, right?
I think so. I think that at the end of the day, our offense is going to go. It was pretty decent last year. Inconsistent, but decent, even though there was so many moving parts on the offensive line. This year, we had the same issue, but I'm hoping that we can lock in a 5 and keep that 5 going for all 17 weeks. And seeing what we have in Jordan Morgan, seeing what we have in Sean Ryan, see what we have in Belton, basically everybody, and see if Jacob Burton can actually get a starting role here on the offensive line, a la Brian Bulaga is a rookie, Zach Thomas is a rookie, Corey Linsley is a rookie, David Bakhtiari is a rookie. Every single one of these greats that have come through Green Bay have somehow come in later rounds. Myles Bulaga was a first-round pick and found a way to find a role on the offensive line and then secure it as theirs until they basically left Green Bay.
Yeah, no, 100%. The Packers' ability to identify talent late in the draft, very good. Early in the draft, we've had our problems with Goody, but late in the draft, he has been really good in there. And that's what, I mean, you just mentioned Jacob Burton, but there's a lot of exciting rookies heading into camp, too. I mean, looking like guys like Brandon Cisse coming in, like that is an exciting guy to look at. And then even not a rookie, but a second-year guy in Matthew Golden. Seeing him in a little bit more of a dominant role, right? Now losing Romeo Dobbs and Dontavian Wicks, you now see a guy like Golden who's going to step into the spotlight now. I love to see it there because, as you mentioned many times, Jordan Love has a trust level with him that is really high. So seeing him now more in that spotlight, along with guys like Reed and Watson, I'm just excited. You're going into this, you're relatively healthy, right? Heading into training camp, especially on that offensive side. So I am excited to see what the Packers have coming up here. So like I said, it's a quick little segment today. A quick one here. Just had to get a quick hitter with Ummer before we had to get out of here for the day. He'll be back on Wednesday there as we're talking about the training camp underway, everything like that. We're going to get into it on Wednesday here on the show. So Ummer, you let people know where to find you out there across social media.
As well as you can find me on Twitter at AMAR345. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok and Kick and everything else and YouTube at Coast to Coast Packers. And Trey, as always, man, thanks for having me, man. Have a great weekend, and I will see you on Wednesday.
You have a great time out to dinner there and also watching Odyssey there. It sounds like everybody's going to the movie there. So make sure you have a fantastic day out there. And again, happy anniversary. I know I was late. But happy anniversary to you and your wife there. So that's about all we have for the day. We got to get out of here for the day. This has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trades. Thank you all for tuning in today. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday and the rest of your weekend. But until we talk to you guys again next Wednesday at 5, see you.